thanks so much. We want to take a break from that to go to New York City. Mayor De Blasio giving us a statement on the latest conditions.
Been doing an outstanding job since the early morning hours addressing this storm. Now, let me give you a couple updates immediately. So the storm projection has increased just in the last hour or so from the National Weather Service. We're now working with an assumption of 20 to 25 inches. And obviously, we prepare for even worse. So you could see a situation of 25 to 30 inches in a worst-case scenario. But right now, the official estimate from the National Weather Service for New York City is in the 20 to 25 inches range. As of 10 a.m., there was already 11.5 inches at Central Park, which is the historic composite measure point for the city going back literally to the 1800s. So right now, knowing that this storm is moving very intensely, meaning that the snowfall, the accumulation is very intense at this moment. Originally, we were saying at this point of day, 1 to 2 inches per hour should be assumed, which is a very fast accumulation. We're even hearing estimates now of 1 to 3 inches per hour. So expect very rapid accumulation, more than in many other storms. Given those obvious facts and given that we expect that kind of clip to go on even as late as 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. tonight, it's quite clear the math speaks for itself. This storm will surpass 20 inches accumulation in New York City. When that happens, that will put this in the top 5 snowstorms in the history of New York City. If it goes past 20 inches, it will be in the top 5 in terms of accumulation. Literally, in our recorded history, goes back, I think, to 1869. So this is a very big deal. And at this point, National Weather Service, and we certainly agree, think it is almost a foregone conclusion that we will pass that 20-inch mark. That says that people have to take very seriously what's going on here and recognize there's a lot of danger and a lot of disruption that's going to occur because of this storm. We are still in the winter emergency status that started at 8 a.m. this morning and will continue to at least midnight. We are seriously considering a full travel ban. We've not made that decision yet. That is something we're working very closely with the state of New York on. I just spoke to Governor Cuomo. We're coordinating closely. We'll make that decision in the near term on a travel ban. So expect to hear an update even as early as within the next hour. But given what we're seeing, it is imperative that people get off the roads. Anyone who is taking their car to work really should close down their work and get home now. Anyone who's come into the city from the suburbs should turn around and go back. This is very, very fast accumulation, and I guarantee if people linger, they will get stuck. It won't be in anyone's interest. Certainly, as we've said, we're going to tow any vehicle that is blocking our snow plows or our emergency vehicles. That will cause a lot of hassle for the owner of that vehicle and a lot of expense. So the smart thing to do is, if you have taken your car out for any reason, turn around and go home right now. It's as simple as that, because this is bad and it is getting worse rapidly. Let me go over some of the other facts. Also want to emphasize, very windy, wind gusts up to 50 or plus miles an hour. Very windy situation. Again, given that fast accumulation of snow, expect whiteout conditions on the road. Incredibly dangerous. Whiteout conditions literally mean the driver cannot see, has no idea what they're about to go into. That's a reason why people want to get their cars home immediately. And again, wherever you park, get out of the way of emergency vehicles and snowplows. So park in a place that will not obstruct them. The winter emergency, as I said, continues to at least midnight. At this point, we think the snow will go almost up to that point in terms of very forceful snow. Want to emphasize that these decisions are going to be made step by step as we get more information, but a couple of new updates we can tell you. As you heard from the governor, MTA buses suspended at noon, so that's coming right up. Another indication that this storm is worsening in terms of its impact on us. MTA buses will be suspended. So as we said, I talked to some of the media earlier today and emphasized, really, as we've gotten more information, it's clearer and clearer why people should be off the streets entirely. Makes no sense to be in a car. Even mass transit, although it is still going to be running in terms of the subways, doesn't make sense to take mass transit even unless you have an absolutely urgent reason, because there will be lots of delays inevitably. Best thing to do is stay home. Just want to offer a point to my fellow parents. When I was on some of the shows earlier today, the question came, what should parents do about kids who want to go outside? I understand that fully, and you know, a little time out in the snow is not necessarily a bad thing, but parents, please be very, very careful. It's really difficult out there. The wind, the iciness, the fast accumulating snow. Don't just let your kids go out and spend time unattended. If you want to go out with your kids for a little bit, stay with them. Don't go out for long. Take very seriously how fast this storm is moving. And again, I understand fully kids clamoring for fun in the snow, but my best advice is either don't go out or go out very briefly and keep a very close eye on your kids. There'll be time for fun in the snow tomorrow and going forward, but right now this is a fast-moving, intensifying storm, and it should be treated with that respect. Another update, we can now say for sure that alternate side parking will be canceled Monday. Obviously, alternate side parking is canceled today. Saturday, it will definitely be canceled Monday. That's going to obviously be a helpful decision in terms of our drivers knowing that you can park and not have to worry about moving your car on Monday. A couple other updates on the coastal flooding concerns we continue to monitor closely. So far, thank God, the estimates we've gotten from the National Weather Service, which are fairly modest, are holding. So we do not see a major uptick in terms of the flooding, and certainly not anything that threatens life. But as we said yesterday, the major precautions that were put in place to reinforce dunes and other preventive measures, those are working. We have all the FDNY and NYPD capacity out to be ready to address anything that happens. Sanitation, again, doing an extraordinary job. You'll hear from the commissioner in a moment. Want to emphasize, you'll hear from several of the commissioners, but one of the things I really want to emphasize, given this fast accumulation of snow, we talked yesterday about the problem of fire hydrants. Again, I am a homeowner too, so I say to my fellow homeowners, if you have a fire hydrant in front of your house, get out there and keep it clear. It is really important, again, for the whole city, but for your own self-interest, keep that fire hydrant clear. God forbid the fire department needs to use it. They have to have it clear. We continue with very strong outreach efforts looking for anyone who might be in distress. Obviously, NYPD, FDNY out in full force, all of our homeless outreach out in full force, and we're continuing those efforts. Couple words in Spanish, and then I want you to hear from some of our commissioners who are doing a great job coordinating this response. Estamos siguiendo el paso de la tormenta y esperamos hasta 2 pies de nieve con inundación de costas y fuertes vientos. He declarado una emergencia local por el clima. Todos los autos que están bloqueando calles serán remolcados. Pueden llamar al 311 si tienen problemas con el agua caliente o la calefacción, o al 911 si es una emergencia. Por favor, quédense en sus casas todo el tiempo posible y eviten los viajes, incluso en el transporte público. I want to note one more point. It's in the Spanish, but I missed it in the English, that, again, if there's any problems with heat and hot water, please call 311. It's going to be hard to get repairs made today, to say the least, but we do need to know if people are not getting heat and hot water so we can respond as quickly as possible. I'd like you to hear from some of the folks who are leading the response effort. First, the First Deputy Commissioner of the Office of Emergency Management, Calvin Drayton.
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Very quickly, the New York City Emergency Management continues to work very closely with the National Weather Service. In fact, we've had one of their members or one of their staff here since midnight, and we'll continue to have them here throughout the duration of the storm. As I mentioned yesterday, we activated our Emergency Operations Center at midnight, and we will continue to be here 24/7, supporting and coordinating with the Commissioner from Sanitation. We've deployed several members of our staff. out to each of the boroughs to monitor conditions and to respond to issues before, during, and after the storm. We continue to work with our city and state partners and coordinating with them. We've been on numerous phone calls with the state in an effort to coordinate if there are shutdowns that impact the city. And that's it.
Good. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Much appreciated. Now, the woman at the heart of the storm, the eye of the storm, but she's doing a fantastic job, our Sanitation Commissioner, Catherine Garcia.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So we saw first flakes starting around 9:30 on Staten Island and started our response then.
You mean PM? Or
PM, yes. Not the 9:30 this morning. 9:30 p.m. last night. We were at full spreader operations by 11 p.m. and then at full plowing operations by around 5 a.m. This is much sooner than we had anticipated being out there, but being in front of the storm has helped us keep up with the amount of accumulation that we are seeing. We were seeing 1 to 2 inches very, very early, very, very fast. We have over 2,500 pieces of equipment out there at this time, including from our fellow agencies. We also have started to deploy our plowing front-end loaders as well as our V-plows. We are seeing very intense snowfall out there, and I really do ask that people get off the roads because it's dangerous if you're a professional driver. It's doubly dangerous if you have not had that training.
Thank you very much, Commissioner, and we're going to continue to emphasize, and I want to ask all of our colleagues in the media to emphasize that message, that people need to get off the roads immediately. Another expert on that topic, our Transportation Commissioner, Polly Trottenberg.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Yes, please. Our Traffic Management Center is open. We're monitoring roadway incidents, working with PD, and we're certainly seeing them, so we hope people will stay off the roads. We're working to clear our East River bridges, our ferry facilities. Staten Island Ferry is currently running on a 2-boat schedule, so there are delays, but we're still in operation.
Thank you very much, Commissioner. And again, another reason to stay off the roads is to leave the space for our first responders to be able to deal with whatever they need to. So let's hear from our Fire Commissioner, Dan Nigro.
Thank you. Yes, we had 3 serious fires last night, but we did have great response time. We had no serious injuries at those fires. Once again, the cold weather induces people to try to stay warm using space heaters. We tell people, please, if you're going to use space heaters, use them safely, keep them away from combustibles. That was the cause of one of the fires last night. Although no one was seriously injured, there are quite a number of people now homeless because of that. Stay off the streets with your cars so that our ambulances and our trucks can get there in a timely manner. And the fire department has staffed up as much as possible, and we've been handling the storm quite well.
Thank you very much, Commissioner. Finally, again, NYPD is playing a crucial role in this response in the coastal areas and all over the city. I'd like to introduce the Chief of Department, Jimmy O'Neill.
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. All right, so far we've had to tow 80 vehicles. We have over 120 tow trucks out there, and so far, as of 4 o'clock this morning, we have about 200 accidents throughout the city. Our Joint Operations Center has been open since 6 o'clock this morning, and our Joint Operations Center consists of patrol services, communications, Department of Sanitation's over there, Fire Department, EMS, Port Authority Police, and MTA Police. So any issue that arises, we can take care of it quickly. We have over 500 four-wheel drive and all-wheel drive vehicles out there. Our vehicles have their turret lights on, so they're easy to see. And we do have, in case of the coastal flooding, we do have numerous high-axle vehicles pre-deployed around the city. Highway District is out there also. I think there was a little problem on the LIE this morning coming into the Midtown Tunnel, but that's been taken care of. Traffic Management Center relays all information to all of our cars throughout the city. And listen, bottom line, if you don't need to be out on the street, if you don't need to be driving, if you're not going through an emergency, please stay off the street. Let us do our job. Let Fire Department do their job. Let EMS do their job. And most of all, let sanitation do their job. Just a couple of numbers. We continue our homeless outreach. Through the night last night, we had 32 people voluntarily accept our services and transported them to shelters. We had 7 that were transported to hospitals, and we actually had 1 involuntary. So just to repeat myself one last time, if you don't need to be out on the street in a vehicle or on foot, please stay home.
I want to see you and raise you, Jimmy, that, again, people sometimes convince themselves they need to be out in the street to get a gallon of milk, or they need to be out in the street to see some, other thing that they want to see. No. This is an urgent situation. Only in emergency should a car be out in the street at this point. So if you have to pick up your children, do it right now, get home. If you have something you urgently need to do, get it done and get home right now. But otherwise, there is no reason to be out in the middle of what's going to be one of the worst snowstorms in New York City history. With that, we'll take questions.
First of all, what kind of trouble, if any, have we seen for emergency vehicles? Because maybe it's testament to sanitation. When we drove from the Upper West Side to here in downtown Brooklyn, the streets were pretty good.
Yeah.
Maybe that's because of your all's work, or maybe it's because we've only got 9 inches so far. But what kind of experience have ambulances and emergency vehicles seen so far, and what do you expect if we do go over that 25,000?
So I'll have Commissioner Nigro speak to that, but let me start by saying it is testament to the extraordinary work of the Sanitation Department. As you heard Commissioner Garcia say, the storm did come in several hours earlier than originally projected, but they were ready for it. So they had all the assets pre-positioned, all of the shift at full strength. So this is something we constantly invoke around here. The Weather Service does an incredible job. But again, down on the ground here, we have to deal with what really happens, not projections, but what really happens. And if something happens several hours earlier, we have to be ready to respond immediately. Sanitation did that. When I came down from Gracie Mansion here to OEM in Brooklyn, I had the same experience you did. I thought sanitation had done a fantastic job. But that fast accumulation is the challenge. Even if they're doing everything perfectly, 1 inch per hour, 2 inches per hour, even at times 3 inches per hour, there's only so much that snowplows can handle in such a huge city. So that's why people have to understand that this is becoming a more intense situation, why it's so important to get out of the way so sanitation can keep doing their work. Commissioner Nigro will speak to the EMS response issue.
Well, so far overnight and this morning, we've had 5 ambulances that were temporarily stuck in the snow, and our vehicles, our fire apparatus, of course, being much larger, do not have that problem. We're able to pull them out. And where they have the problems are on the side streets. We implore them to stay on the main roads as much as possible, but sometimes they cannot. And there's been a few instances where they've been stuck, but we're doing pretty good.
Chief O'Neill.
Yeah, right now, our call volume is actually down, and we have absolutely no backlog. And just to get back to your question, while it was safe traveling down on the FDR coming down here, doesn't take much for that to stop. But, 1 or 2 accidents and you're going to jam up major highways. So again, you don't need to be out. Please stay home.
Yeah.
I just have a question about the news that broke this morning. What do you think about former Mayor Bloomberg running for president?
We're not talking about that. We're talking about this emergency.
We mentioned ferry and bus service, but what's going on with the trains?
Again, right now, most of the subway lines are, from what I'm hearing, running fairly well, especially the underground portions, obviously. But we have to expect further delays on any subway line that has an overground element, because this kind of accumulation, again, we've learned this now over the last 2 years, all of us together. Fast accumulation, it just stands to reason. Even a lot of snowplows, can't keep up if it just constantly keeps piling up so quickly. So we should expect further delays in the MTA as we go along. We'll keep coordinating closely with the governor and the state. The state obviously runs the MTA. But what we can say safely is things are moving now, but expect greater delays as the day progresses. Yes?
Governor Cuomo yesterday described your conversations as bordering on intimate. Would you say
that was obviously some well-deserved humor amidst the challenges we're all facing?
Are things better this year between you two?
Again, we're not here to talk about larger issues or personalities. We're in the middle on this question, absolutely. We had a series of conversations. Our teams have been talking constantly. I said the other day, we all learned valuable lessons from last storm, and it taught all of us how to respond better. There's certainly been a lot more coordination and communication. And I think this question of when you decide to make each major new step in the protocol is something that we're working very closely on to get right. That's why at this moment there's a serious discussion going on of a travel ban. Again, we'll come back to you very shortly on that. But what's good is we all have learned how to have the kind of communication we need to have before making a final decision.
What would a travel ban mean?
It literally means that, except for emergency vehicles and authorized personnel, that no one else is allowed on the roads, and that will be enforced.
And in terms of underground subways, would that mean that people can go on the subways?
Travel ban refers to roads and vehicles. I would say it's quite obvious people should not be in the subway either for all the reasons we're saying. I want to make it real simple. If you're at work and you can, go home right now. If you're an owner of a store, shut your store. It's just really straightforward. People should realize this is going to be very likely one of the worst snowstorms in our history. The best thing people can do is go home, stay home. The best chance we have of getting back to normal on Monday is if people get back to home and let everyone here and their employees do their job. Anyone else? Last questions, going once? Yes.
And obviously there's a lot of snow. Any safety advice or anything for all the kids that want to play in the snow?
Yeah, as I said, I really want to emphasize to my fellow parents, I feel your pain, to say the least, if the kids are clamoring to go outside. I've been there many, many times. What I say is, look, if you have a backyard or the kids can play right in front of your house, that's great. But I would not have kids going very far from the home. If you want to go really quickly to someplace near your home, stay with your kids. Adult supervision necessary. This is a fastly intensifying storm, and it's slippery, it's gusty. I, as a parent, wouldn't let my kids out of my sight. So if you want to get them a little bit of air, a little bit of running around, keep your eyes on them, keep it as minimal as possible, get them back inside. But what my kids at a certain age would have done, they would have gone off to the park sledding and all, and I wouldn't have thought there's a problem in that. Not today. Not today. I would not let them out of my sight if I'm a parent. Yes?
Is there a chance that underground subways might be shuttered?
Conceivable. I mean, again, this is going in stages. I think, you know, we've had a very full conversation with the governor and the MTA. At this point, there is not an impulse to a MTA closure. I think, again, a travel ban for the roads is more likely than an MTA closure. But this is an hour-to-hour thing. Again, I want everyone to hear we're in a very different situation than we were last night. And we're even in a different situation than we were at the beginning of the morning. The latest estimates show both an intensification of the number of inches to expect and the speed with which it's coming in. So over 20 inches makes us one of the top 5 snowstorms in New York City history going back to 1869. There is a chance to get to 25 or even 30 inches. So the best way for people to think about this is we're going into uncharted territory here, and it would not be shocking, again, to go to a travel ban or maybe even an MTA closure. But that latter decision is going to be done very, very carefully in consultation with the state. Yes?
Follow up to that, would you guys give like an hour, 2 hours notice?
Yes. Absolutely. We would give at least a couple hours. No, well, I don't want to speak for the state and MTA. They have to make that ultimate decision. On a travel ban, we would give a couple hours notice. Anything else? Yes.
One last question. Would you have to hit a certain inch count before you'd have a travel ban?
It's a little more subtle than that. I think it's less about the total number of inches and more about the speed of accumulation. And again, this latest information that went from 1 to 2 inches per hour to 1 to 3 inches per hour has got our full attention. Commissioner Garcia is constantly talking to her team all over the city and getting feedback on how the plowing operations are going. The most important thing from my point of view is if Commissioner Garcia says the plows are really starting to bog down because of any traffic out there, or Chief O'Neill or Commissioner Nigro say emergency vehicles are having trouble moving because of traffic, that will precipitate a travel ban. So if anyone wants to make it easier on all these people, go home right now. Get your cars off the road, and that's what we really need everyone to do. Okay? Thanks very much, everyone.